Kubernetes. So let's start. First of all, let's go through the prerequisites that we have over here. There are 5. First of all, kops. Kops is the utility that is used to install the Kubernetes cluster. It makes it quite easy to create the cluster using kops. And second is the kubectl, which is a command line for the Kubernetes and is used to manage the Kubernetes cluster. Third is the domain configured at root 53. Actually, the thing is that in order to maintain the cluster or instance changes, the DNS entries need to be dynamically changed, and in order to do that, the kops or the kubectl needs access to the domain panel access. So in order to do so, the domain needs to be hosted at the root 53. So you can do that by let me go to this. Yeah, so I have a domain over here, and you just need to go to the domain provider control panel and change the name servers to this, and then the domain will be controlled entirely from here. So now coming back to this, we also need to create a S3 bucket. Actually, how kops works is that when you create the kops cluster, it generates configurations file which are stored in this S3 bucket, and whatever the changes you want to make, you need to go and edit those files, and post which we have the AWS CLI. So I have created S3 bucket. Let me show you. This is the S3 bucket I have. It is empty right now, and then I have also installed the AWS CLI. So yeah, it is working. So now we need to install the kops. The URL of the kops installation has been given over here, and whatever the steps are and all these details, I will be providing this over a link in the description. You guys can go through there, but right now let me just go through these steps. You just need to download the kops and like this, and move it to the local user bin folder. It's quite a big file actually. Let me pause it for you. Next we have the kubectl installation. It is also same as the kops. We need to download it and move it to the user local bin. So we have the kops and kubectl over there. Now in order to launch the instances, the kops uses the IDRSA pub file. So you need to provide the IDRSA pub file which it will use in order to create the cluster, so that you can access using that file later. But for now I am just using the file that is already there, with which I am accessing this instance. Okay, now you need to export two variables here. One is the S3 bucket URL, that is, you need to do it like this: export scope state store, and this. So I've done it, and along with this the hosted zone ID. You can copy it from here. This. Yes, so we are done now with the prerequisites. Let's now create the cluster. The command goes like this: the corps create cluster, and you need to specify the zone. I'm in the Mumbai regions right now, so AP South 1 is the region, and you need to provide the cluster name that is same to the domain name that you are using to build the cluster. So let me run the command now. Yeah, so as you can see that the cluster configuration has been created. These are the commands that we will use to make the desired changes. If you go through S3, then we have the configuration files. This is actually the S3 bucket. Inside these are the files which are generated right now. So right now we are going to edit the node instance group. The command is this one. Yeah, so here I'll change the instance type. This part specifies the minimum and maximum number of instances in the auto scaling group, so I am leaving it as it is for now. Yeah, now I will be changing the master instance type, for which I will run this command. This one also I will be doing as T2 micro, and let one master be there for now. So I have changed the instance type. That is what I want to do as of now. There are many other things that can be done, which I'll be showing in the later videos. So let's create the cluster now. The command to create the cluster is given here. First of all, let me show you that I don't have any other instance running right now. This is the one with which I am connected right now. So let's run the command. Yeah, so the cluster is starting. It should be ready in few minutes. It says a few more commands that we can use later. Right now, if we go through the AWS platform, then we should see few instances being created. Yeah, one other these are the three instances that are being created. Out of these three, one will be master and the other two will be nodes. Apart from that, if you go to the IAM, there will be two IAM roles generated, as I said earlier, master and nodes, and a few root 53 entries must be there also. Yeah, so as you can see, these are the entries created by the Kubernetes, which will be dynamically updated. Now it will take 4-5 minutes in order to launch the instances. so I'll be pausing the video in the meantime. Yeah, so around 5 to 10 minutes have passed, so we should be checking this now. I think the session got disconnected maybe. Yeah, so let me rerun it. The command is force validate cluster. Oh, I need to export. These two variables again. So as we can see, there are two instance groups, master and node. Both are T2 micro. The auto scaling parameters, their subnets, and the status of each of the instances, they are ready. So it's good. Now this was the command from kops. We can check this with the kubectl also, so like this. So our cluster is ready now. Now we have installed it through CLI, and we will be requiring the graphical interface, which will be useful in order to handle and manage the cluster. So for that you need to go to this URL. This is the Kubernetes install add-ons, but I'll be sharing the link with you, no issues. So I have already copied it over here. You just need to copy this command and paste it. So these are the objects that were created: a service account, a role binding, a deployment, and a service. So if we run kubectl cluster info, we can see that the Kubernetes master and kubedns is running. So the dashboard URL is generally in this pattern: api.domain API, this one. So in our case it will be this. Let's check it out. Yeah, it uses a self-signed SSL, so it is give us the warning. We can proceed anyway. Now it is asking for the username and password. So the username is admin all the time, and in order to get the password you need to run the command. So here you get the password. The username will be admin. Now you can log in. So our cluster is ready. We can see that we have 3 nodes over here which are healthy.